Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing two more builds during Solstice. That's where these ornaments are from. They're for silver or 6000 bright dust in Eververse. So, the first build is going to be a general build. The second build is a build I use for everything, especially endgame content, and it's even better during Solstice. So the first build we're going to be using Mask of Bakris, which I've used these two exotics in a build before Mask of Bakris and Graviton Spike, but they were different builds. So Mask of Bakris shows while you have a stasis super equipped, your dodge becomes a longer range, faster moving shift that partially cloaks you during use. After shifting, your stasis and arc weapons gain a stacking bonus damage for a short time, and final blows while you have light shift give you class ability energy. So we're going to be using Prismatic for this. We've got Silence and Squall for the super, Marksman's Dodge, Withering Blade, and Arc Bolt Grenade. For aspects, since it's using dodge, we're going to use Threaded Spectre and Winter's Shroud just so we have more fragments instead of Ascension. So for fragments we have Facet Balance, which I use for every build, Facet Awakening for elemental pickups, Facet Honor for Transcendence energy from those elemental pickups, Facet Hope, so you get class ability energy more quickly, which you can switch out for something else. You might not need that. And then Facet of Purpose for Frost Armor. So for weapons, you can really use any stasis kinetic weapon. I'm using Tanasha's Mastery just because it's a really good stasis rocket sidearm, and if you don't have this, there's actually a stasis fusion rifle that you can get right now. It's a new weapon, and it comes with Chill Clip, which is one of the best stasis perks. So, preferably a weapon with Chill Clip. Then Graviton Spike, which is the brand new hand cannon, which you get from a quest after the campaign in Edge of Fate. So it has the trait Temporal Manipulation. You can switch between Arc and Stasis modes. Arc fires faster, Stasis fires slower. And then Final Blows and Precision Hits overcharge the opposing mode. So when it's overcharged, Arc mode on precision hits or kills calls down lightning strikes, and then stasis mode creates an explosion and stasis crystals. So I'll demonstrate this in a second. Pretty much, you can keep on switching. If there's like a boss, you can just keep hitting headshots with this, because it'll keep refilling your mag, you won't have to reload. And, so say you're using stasis mode, and you charge up arc mode. Once you switch to arc mode, you can hit 3 precision hits, so that's 3 lightning bolts, and then you'll have stasis overcharged. So you can't just do infinite lightning strikes, it'll run out after 3, but then you can switch to stasis. If you do have any of the catalysts, that's perfect. This is crafted, so there's more than one catalyst, and intrinsics hidden around Kepler. I do not have them yet. And then we're using the machine gun ulterior observation just because it's a new weapon and it's stasis. You can really get any roll. So for the artifact, this is going to be the same for both builds. You can tweak this a little if you're using one build more than the other. This is just the artifact that works for both builds. So like all my artifacts, I have Anti-Barrier Scout and Pulse, Unstoppable Sidearm and Hand Cannon, and then Overload Rapid Fire, and then Flame Fiber and Freeze, one with Frost, and Tightly Woven, and then Fever and Chill, and Refresh Threads, then Elemental Coalescence, and Threaded Blast, and then Radiant Shrapnel and Shield Crush. So for armor, we're going to be using class and weapons mods for this. So we have Stasis Siphon, Arc Siphon, and another Harmonic Stasis Siphon. And then for most of your armor, you're going to want the Specialist archetype, especially for the exotic. Now, you can see I don't have Specialist on all my armor, but I do try and make it so I have class or weapons. Like here, I have Gunner, which is weapons. So for gauntlets, Stasis Loader, Harmonic Loader, and Arc Loader. Chest piece, you want Stasis ammo generation and Arc ammo generation, and then another Stasis. For leg armor, I have Insulation, Stasis Weapon Surge, and Arc Weapon Surge. And then for the cloak, I have Bomber, Outreach, and Reaper. So you just want your class and weapon stats to be as close to 100 as possible, preferably weapons. You won't need class as much. You'll see why in a second, because they did buff Mask of Bakris. Also, if you were wondering how I got so many tier 4s at only Guardian rank 7, during Solstice, which is 2 weeks long, so another week and a half, there's certain activities in the portal. So let's say, right now let's go to Solo Ops. Today it's Caldera. So you can see bonus rewards. It has Distorted Solstice Engram, which means every time you complete the activity, it'll give you either a Solstice weapon or armor. And depending on the tier, that's what it gives you. So say I customize this, put on some modifiers, and then now it says tier 3. So the thing about Distorted Solstice Engrams is that every time, every single run, this will drop a tier above whatever you have. So if you're just on normal, it'll give you tier 2s every time. If you're on expert, it'll give you tier 3s. If you're on master, it'll give you tier 4s. If you have B+, if you have high B+, it'll round up to A if you do the bonus objective. So if you have an A completion, not C+, you'll get tier 4s every time, and Grandmaster, it's guaranteed tier 5 every single run, no matter what. So I can't do Grandmaster yet because it's power 400. But also, so say you're doing Master with A rank, like me, you're Guardian rank 7. You've got A rank, tier 3. So with this, you get 1 solo op gear, portal activities gear, at tier 3, and then 1 Solstice weapon or armor piece at tier 4. There's also a rare chance that you can get a hollow foil Solstice weapon, and that'll drop at tier 5. So hollow foils always drop 2 tiers above your reward tier, and it also comes with an armor piece. So you'll get a tier 5 weapon and tier 5 armor piece if you get a hollow foil. So that's just a perfect farm for whatever you're doing. And you can also do Pinnacle Ops. That gives more completion rewards, but it takes longer. And then, if you like PvP, you can do Crucible. There's a Solstice game mode right now, which gives you Scorch Cannons. And then Fire Team Ops. I mean, I don't really do Fire Team Ops that much. I feel like it's faster to either do solo ops or run Pinnacle Ops with 2 other people. Because with Pinnacle Ops, if it's the right mission, like Whisper or Encore, you can speedrun it with a full fire team, sometimes star-crossed. So here's the first build. I'm gonna demonstrate right now on just some red bars. I'll show it on a boss later, just to show graviton spike. So you can see with headshots and kills, it filled up a bar above my super. So now I can switch modes. And then just keep doing that. So that was, you don't have to reload because every time you switch modes, it gives you 3 ammo. So I'm going to demonstrate again, but this time with Mask of Bakris. So here I can shift, and then once I get a kill, it gives me almost my whole class ability back. So 2 kills gives me my class ability, and this damage bonus stacks, so now I have light shift times 3. And it only goes up to 3, but you can just keep on dodging and killing stuff, and you'll just keep on getting your class ability back, no matter what, as long as you can get 2 kills. So if we do a little bit tougher enemies, I'll wait for my armor charge to go away. Alright, so here you can see not too much damage, and then headshot, a little more, and then with this, about the same, but then you get a kill, and you can stack it, so now you can almost kill them, and now with times 3, you can one-shot them. So these are orange bars. So that was just with Graviton Spike. You can try it on a boss. So you can see now it's overcharged, 3 hits. Arc overcharged, 3 more hits. I'd say the arc mode is a lot better. Stasis mode is good for like ad clear because of the stasis crystals. But I just love arc mode because of the lightning bolts. And it does more damage. Okay, there it ran out. So, pretty much you can just spam abilities too. But this build is mainly just Graviton Spike focused and Mask of Bakris. So it's great for ad clear. The next build is also going to be using Prismatic. This time we're using the exotic class item. So for this one, I know exotic class items can be hard to farm, but they did make it so you can go to Ghost in the Pale Heart and attune a certain trait, one trait, that it'll have a higher chance of dropping. So for this one, you're going to want to do Spirit of Caliban. You don't have to do Spirit of Surturacne, but it's really good for this build. You can certainly do something else if you can't get this roll, but preferably use this. So we're going to be using Prismatic. We're going to be using Silk Strike, Gambler's Dodge, Knife Trick, and Grapple. Aspects, we have Threaded Spectre and Gunpowder Gamble. Fragments, we have Facet of Ruin, Facet of Hope, Facet of Balance, Facet of Awakening, Facet of Blessing, and then Facet of Purpose. So pretty much, you'll just always have Woven Mail with this build. Now, I know for Woven Mail, a lot of people like to use Navigator, and with the Catalyst you can make grapple points, but I feel like Navigator sometimes can be annoying because it only works in a fire team, and you have to shoot it, you have to take the time to shoot at your teammates to get Woven Mail, and I find it works better to just not use it, and I usually use this build to farm solo ops for Solstice gear, so I can get some more tier 4s and tier 5s. So that's why I use this build. For weapons, we're using the new Solstice SMG Year Tie to Apex. The role you're going to want is Heal Clip Incandescent. That's the god roll. It's really easy to get. There's a ton of god rolls with this. There's also Chaos Reshaped, which this is the first weapon to get Chaos Reshaped that isn't in the Salvation's Edge raid. And then there's Burning Ambition. And there's a ton of other perks that you can get, but Heal Clip Incandescent is the way to go for pretty much any solar weapon. So this is the new best solar SMG in the game, so it's better than No Survivors, and it's a new weapon, so it has tiers. So, it's also got a pretty good origin trait, not too good for solo ops, but it's still good. Pretty much this just explodes everything, and you can heal after kills. Like I said, you can use Navigator if you want, but I use Mint Retrograde, which you can get from Pinnacle Ops. The roll doesn't matter too much. The weapon is so good you don't really need a good roll. I have stats for all Master of Arms or Slice Beacon rounds. Like I said, you can really do anything. This is kind of an ad clear roll. I don't really use it for ad clear, so I might change it to like Beacon rounds, Slice, or stats for all Slice. But I think right now I'm just gonna stay with that because it's a tier 3, and it's good even with the worst perks that it has. That's how good it is. So we're gonna be using Dragon's Breath. If you have the exotic Whirling Ovation from the new Desert Perpetual raid, 100% use that. But I find this is really good. They buffed it. The Catalyst is really good. Pretty much, it's just it can get to 5 stacks of composite propellant, and I only shoot it once it gets to 5 stacks, which is pretty easy with the Catalyst. Pretty much, it just, you shoot it at something like a boss, and it just shoots out fire, so it'll just keep on scorching them and ignite, and it's now an unstoppable weapon. And at tier 5, it'll also reload itself, and igniting targets replenishes fuel. So, pretty much, you just wait for it to get composite propellant times 5, and then with the Catalyst it'll do that faster, and then it'll reload itself, and you just keep on shooting. And while you're waiting for this to get to 5, you can use something like Mint Retrograde. Now I find this works really well for the Caldera boss, for once again farming Solstice gear. You just shoot this once, maybe use like an ability or two, and it'll put its shield up, go shoot the nodes, do it again, and then you can use Mint Retrograde if you want to do it faster. So pretty much with this build you just ignite everything and always have Woven Mail. And the good thing about Spirit of Caliban is that it works with grapple, since the grapple melee counts as a melee, so it'll trigger an ignition. For armor, we have, we're going to be using weapon mods. Um, just 'cause gotta have balanced stats. Mainly just get your melee and grenade to 100, and then do your weapon mod. I have 100 melee and grenade. I wouldn't do over 100 because you don't really need more damage. You can. I just don't find myself like not doing enough damage. I always do enough damage. Even when I'm 20 power under in solo ops, I think it's still fine. So I wouldn't waste energy when you can just do weapons and have more weapon damage. So for helmet, I have Solar Strand Siphon, and then Strand Harmonic Siphon. For gauntlets, I have Heavy Handed, Firepower, and Impact Induction. Chest armor, I have... if you do have a tier 5, you're going to want to do Balance Tuning. Just so you get all the lowest stats instead of just one. Then Strain Ammo Generation, Solar Ammo Generation, and Melee Damage Resist. And if you can, farm Solstice as much as you can, and try and get 4 pieces of armor, because the 4 piece, I only have 3 pieces on right now, but the 4 piece makes it so rapid solar final blows heal you, which is one of the best, if not the best, armor bonus in the game right now. And then the 2 piece receiving healing just boosts your solar weapons, which would work with the 4 piece. I don't have that because I'm missing the gauntlets. I have a couple Solstice ones. It's just you want to make sure you have the same stats, because if I change to one of these, it's gonna make my grenade stat go down to 75. So I'm gonna want something like the same archetype, because the 2 pieces I have 0 grenade, and this one has 0 weapons. This one is gunner, which is weapons and grenade. So if I change the armor piece, my weapons will drop down to 50, and my grenade will drop down to 75. And my super will drop down to 50. So, I don't have the 4 piece yet. Just keep your stats in mind when you're changing armor, because you don't want to change armor just for the 4 piece. You gotta make sure the stats are the same, so it doesn't throw everything off balance. So leg armor, we have Innervation, Strand Weapon Surge, and Solar Weapon Surge. And then class item, we have Bomber, Outreach, and Reaper. So pretty much, since you're going to be close to enemies a lot for your melee to ignite, that's why we have Woven Mail and Melee Damage Resist. So I can show it on some ads real quick. Then I'll show it on a boss. So here I can demonstrate the SMG. It does a ton of damage. You can see with heal clip, it gives me cure if I reload after a kill. So here, if I use my melee on this guy, he'll ignite, and then kill like everything around him. And then Gunpowder Gamble can do the same, just kill everything. So pretty much with this build, just everything can ignite. And with Incandescent, it works really well. And if you have Burning Ambition makes it so if you're shooting a scorched target, it'll scorch them more. Or if you're just shooting a target, then it'll apply Scorch. And if you like dump 2 mags into an enemy with Burning Ambition, you can ignite them. So here I'll demonstrate Dragon's Breath on a boss. So you can see it leaves a trail of fire. It's just shooting out the fire, and then scorches, then you can ignite with your melee. And if there's ads, you can like throw your melee at the ads around the boss and ignite near the boss. So I think it's really easy on bosses like the Caldera boss or any solo ops boss to just shoot Dragon's Breath and then start shooting Mint Retrograde. And then usually 3 Mint Retrograde shots and then Dragon's Breath will do it. This is like a boss with a billion health, so it's not going to do that. Sometimes, if you don't have Dragon's Breath ammo, just use your super. That should get their health pretty low. And solo ops enemies, they usually have shields that they put up, so that's why I didn't want to like have something that uses one ammo to just nuke them. I wanted something that holds a lot of ammo and can do damage over time. So Mint Retrograde is really good for DPS, especially if you have a good roll for it. So that was like 33,000 damage with 3 Dragon's Breath rockets and a few Mint Retrograde shots. And my super, of course. But usually in solo ops I don't use Transcendence because this build is so good I don't need it. But if you do end up needing it, that'll usually do the trick also. Sometimes if it's not Caldera, it's a bit of a harder boss, or it'll like run away so you can't use your Dragon's Breath as much. And sometimes in Caldera with the Vex boss with Dragon's Breath, it is kind of hard to hit because it does move around, and when it spawns initially, sometimes the rockets just go through it. So sometimes you can just shoot from far away and hope they don't see you, and it'll just do the same thing. So those were my 2 builds for Solstice. The good thing about this build is that it's like really good during Solstice, because in certain activities, actually I think it's every activity, so say you go to the portal, load up Caldera, during Solstice there's something called event modifiers, and they make your score go up without making the enemy power level go up, and it actually buffs you. So usually positive modifiers make the multiplier go down, but event modifiers make it go up. And pretty much all of these are for solar, and that just makes it really good. So these are the default ones it gives you. I find Radiant Joy is a good one. While Radiant, Final Blows spawn fire sprites. Collecting fire sprites cure you. So that's just if you find yourself dying a lot and you need health. And then this one is really good. Solstice weapons with the Dreamwork Origin trait deal more damage, so this will make the SMG deal more damage. Class healing, that's a good one, so you heal with your class ability. This one, just solar storms, solar fireballs rain down death and destruction while advancing towards you. They occasionally spawn while defeating combatants. And then Fire Sprite Fancy. If you pick up a Fire Sprite, it creates a little scorch area around you. Then there's things like Igniter, where precision hits against scorched combatants cause ignitions. Just precision hits, not kills. So, those event modifiers are very good for this build, and they only last another week and a half, so make sure to get it while you can. And even after Solstice, this will be a great build, and once some more events come along, I'm sure they'll have event modifiers. And make sure to go farm some tier 4s and 5s. If you're rank 5, it'll just be tier 3s and occasionally 4s if it's holofoil. But once you're rank 7, it's tier 4s and 5s if it's holofoil. If you're rank 9, it'll be tier 5s every single completion. And if you're power 450, it's tier 5s no matter what it is, even if it's not Solstice stuff. But 450 is pretty hard to get. And power does get reset to 200 at Renegades in December. So they are going to make the grind easier in September with Ashen Iron. They released that in the tweet yesterday, but for now, it's pretty hard to get from 400 to 450 or from 200 to 400. So just make sure to grind all those Solstice gear ops right now because it's the best way to get your power up and it's the best way to grind higher tier weapons and armor. And there's another weapon, Festival Flight. It's the new Strand Area Denial Frame Grenade Launcher. It can roll with some pretty good perks. I got a hollow foil, so it's tier 5. The hollow foils look pretty nice. It's like a beach. So I got Ambitious Assassin Hatchling. Um, Ambitious Assassin is probably the first column perk you're going to want. You can get Envious Arsenal, but I find Envious Arsenal doesn't really work well on this weapon. And you can certainly use this weapon for this build. I have. It works pretty well. You can do One for All also. One for All is pretty good. I find Ambitious Assassin good because you can just kill a group of ads and it'll give you extra ammo in your mag. So you don't have to keep reloading. So here's my non-hollow foil. And then it's pretty much the same roll with Envious Arsenal. So I find that, so tier 5s have ornaments specific to tier 5s. I think it's not bad, but the hollow foil one is just so much better. And actually, if you take the Raising Sea Foam shader that's in the Eververse right now, it looks kinda like a hollow foil. You can see on my SMG I have that. It's like a little beach shader. This is it without it. It does look really good without it. Your tight Apex looks very good, hollow foil or not. So this is it with the shader, which you can get in Eververse. I think it's like, I don't know, 500 bright dust. It's on the first page somewhere. It's one of the cheap ones. So that's gonna be the two builds. Next time I will try and make some that are using more featured exotics because I know there's some activities like the new Conquest activities that have a modifier that makes it so you can only use new gear and weapons. Which for this build I usually throw something random on. And then take off Dragon's Breath. You can use Microcosm or you can use Navigator. But sometimes when that modifier is active, you kind of want to use a different build. I've shown builds in my other videos that only use new gear and weapons. So if you find yourself struggling, just go check out those videos, and until next time, go grind some Solstice.